Yeah. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam. So glories to Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you all so much for joining. Yes, Prabhuji, you can start. Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevayam Bhagavati Uttamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurun Militam Yenam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namam Vishnu Padayam Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So Hare Krishna. So we're very fortunate to be discussing Srimad Bhagavatam in the assembly of Vaishnavas that can purify our heart from all the unwanted things that this material world is giving us. And we have been discussing about the science of purification and how in our journey we are supposed to be taking cognizance of the support system and also be aware of the pitfalls, and how the process of Krishna consciousness is in itself very well equipped, very well supporting in this journey of our purification. Krishna actively participates. Krishna's devotees who are very kind, they also actively participate. And whatever we are today is because of their blessings, whether they have punished us, whether they have blessed us, whether they have, forgiven us, whatever they have done, it is because of them. So offering the lotus feet of, basis is the lotus feet of such Vaishnavas and the Supreme Lord. We are in the very fag end of the, series. Thanks for all those devotees who are consistently attending this session, and those who couldn't attend online and hearing from recorded session. My sincere thanks to each one of them. Because of you, I am learning, some science and serious lessons in Krishna consciousness. So we are in the fourth section where we are discussing about how the transcendental relationship between the Supreme Lord and his dear devotees are so wonderful that even they are punished and they are having such exchanges. It is only just a leela, but there are lessons that they deliver to the fallen souls. So in that process, we had discussed last week about 15 qualities, about quality of a practicing a devotee, or quality of a disciple, or quality of a devotee which will attract the Supreme Lord's attention towards us, which will enable us to come to the platform of being the dearest for the Lord. Because the time and the period when we get to the Lord, we are dearest, and we get into that zone. And from that point in time, no material aspects will, govern us. Then everything is governed by Krishna's Antaranga Shakti, Krishna's Yoga Maya. So the fourth section is purely where we are dealing with Lord's transcendental loving exchanges with devotees and devotees loving exchanges with the Lord. In the fourth section of punishment, we had two types. Type one is how the Lord's devotees are punished, and it is no mistake of the devotee, but it is only to enhance the loving sentiments of the devotees. Such leelas are performed, and we picked the use case of Raghunath Das Goswami in the Spanihati Chiddadahi festival, or whether it is Jaya Vijaya being cursed by Sanat Kumaras. So these are all some, and there are many more examples that can be given, but I guess to drive home the point, we were discussing how the qualities of a devotee, qualities of a disciple, qualities of a bhakta that puts him to this position. And I guess we finished 6 qualities out of the 15. And these are the qualities listed by one of the profound, acharyas of Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya by name Vedanta Deshika. He concludes in Tattva Abhimatam Sikshaniya. It means truly such a person with these qualities is fit for instruction by the Acharya. So, which means instruction by the Acharya, meaning he is already into the zone of Krishna consciousness, and he is ready to be a missionary. So he is clean, he is trained, he is enabled. Even now we are receiving some instruction that is purely in the training mode. But once you are trained, you can be a missionary. You are part of the mission. So that's that section that we are dealing with. So the 6 qualities that we dealt are Sadbuddhi, which means one who has good intelligence. Sadhu Sevi, has a disposition to mingle with and serve the sadhus. Samuchita Charita, which means he is marked for his righteous conduct, both personal and social. Tattva Bodha Abhilashi, which means has eagerness to learn spiritual teachings. Sushrushu excels in helping the Guru in his seva. Yakta Mana has become humble, or at least free from the gross manifestations of pride. I'm not sure if you dealt in anything beyond that. Can somebody help? We did more than this, or we just did only the 6? I remember we did 6 once. I'll check my notes.
Just this. We just did this.
Okay, thank you. So, the remaining 9 ones, we will try to go over this, and I took permission from the management of Bhagavad Mahavidyalaya, just in case, because today is officially the 12th session. I'm supposed to end it, and I'm sure many would be waiting for me to end this because enough of me. But then I just thought, in case if we spill over, I know my weakness to sometimes I drag things. So I just took permission from the organizers if I can, extend for one more session. But I told them I'll confirm at the end of the session. So let's see how we go. So Vaishnava qualities, Vaishnava Seva, Vaishnava. It is a very interesting perspective. The day a person enters the zone of pure devotional service, and he has been accepted by the Acharya in the pure devotional service zone, then his body, his words, his function, his movements are supposed to be seen not from any materialistic viewpoint. It is to be seen that he is already transported to that zone, transported to that platform, and everything is on transcendental plane. So his thought process, his actions. So it may be a weird, crazy, or uncomprehendable action for the materialistic people. But the moment he moves into the transcendental zone, so then those actions are, that is why in Nectar of Devotion, certain ecstatic symptoms of a bhava, ecstatic symptoms of a person in prema, when you read them, it will be almost equivalent to a madman. But actually, these devotees are mad. They are dedicating their entire existence for the pleasure of the Lord. Today, we are understanding them, hearing about them, we are not yet there. And our hope is by keep on hearing them, they keep on serving, keep on following such a Vaishnava, our life is successful. So, I would like to narrate a very interesting story before I get on to these qualities, which is about yesterday in the Chaitanya Charitamrita class I was talking. So, this is a story of uh, Kamsa taking Devaki and Vasudev in a chariot after the marriage. Devaki and Vasudev got married. Kamsa did this marriage in such a grand manner. He thought, he should do the bidai. He should properly go and drop his jijaji and his sister. So he chose to personally drive the chariot. I mean, for a Maharaja to do that is not something normal. So he had that quality of whatever the culture or quality or the mindset, whatever reason. So the description is, whilst he was riding the chariot, Akashvani, sound came and the prophecy or whatever that is going to happen was announced. So a question is asked, why was it prophecy? Why was it Akashvani to be announced at that time about what is going to happen on the 8th child of Devaki? What if it has not been announced? What would have happened? At least Devaki would have lived, 7 deliveries peacefully. 8th son would have come and Krishna would have come peacefully and come and kill our friend, not friend, my friend, or probably demoniac friend, Kamsa. He would have killed. But then, why is it that this Akashvani is needed? One explanation is given. Madhavananda Prabhu is writing in his recent Krishna Kathamrita Bindu. Not sure how many of you read them. So he's writing it very nicely. He's giving a commentary of an Acharya. He says, when Devatas, when demigods saw that Kamsa is taking Devaki and Vasudeva on the chariot, and they knew how wonderful Vaishnavas are, Vasudeva and Devaki, so they started to develop a fear that what if Kamsa is going to perform Vaishnava service, Vaishnava seva, and if already he is formidable, already he has attacked so many demigods and put them under his control. So what if he is going to perform Vaishnava seva even unknowingly? He will become further more formidable. So let us try to stop that and make sure that he makes some Vaishnava prayer. So the mindset is a similar one is being referred by Prabhu there from Tulsidas Ramayan. He was telling when Ravana was scolding Vibhishana about Vibhishana taking side of Lord Rama, so all the demigods, they were jumping. They were very, very happy because they thought Ravana cannot be killed. But when Ravana committed Vaishnava Aparad, when Ravana was trying to insult Vibhishana, they were sure that the Ravana's life is going to be in trouble. So the perspective that I am trying to bring in here, that these qualities that we are discussing or that we are going to further discuss, these are so wonderful qualities that just by having them, you are on the side of Krishna. You are on the side of self-realization, and that enables us to be part of a mission which is to serve Vaishnavas. So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is writing in his purport. What is he writing? He is saying that in our devotional journey, it is extremely important for us to note that do not consider service to the Vaishnavas as a means but rather always consider it the goal. To think that by serving Vaishnavas, one can achieve other fruits is to consider Vaishnava Seva as a means. And to think that due to heaps of pious activities, one obtains Vaishnava Seva is to consider it the goal. This is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj's, it is written in the book of Life and Teachings of the Four Acharyas by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So he is trying to appreciate the aspect is that many people think that going to Krishna is the goal, but Krishna thinks if you come to me, I will send you to the Vaishnava, that is the goal. And that is what is seen in Prithu Maharaj's episode. When Prithu Maharaj got darshan of Vishnu in the fire sacrifice, typically the end of the movie should have happened. But that's when the climax is in, where Vishnu is saying, my dear Prithu, for all the wonderful service that you did, for all the obedience and culture you showed to obey the orders of Brahma, I am so pleased. I bless you the company of my self-realized souls. Sanat Kumaras are going to visit you, and they will bless you. Just imagine, Krishna is right in front of him, Vishnu is right in front of him. He could have blessed. But he says that, Sanat Kumaras will come, you will respect them, they will be, giving special advice. And Srimad Bhagavatam enables us to learn that in a very wonderful manner. So technically, the idea of Vaishnava Seva, the idea of qualities of these Vaishnavas who are in the section 4 category, like Raghunath Das Goswami, like or great souls of the Sanat, 6 Goswamis, all of them, even Jiva Goswami was punished by Rupa Goswami, and for no mistake of Jiva Goswami. So the whole section of these people, they are untouched by materialism. So the 7th quality that we are going to deal with, let me just turn on the whiteboard. So this is 7th quality that we are dealing with is called Pranipatena Para, has implicit obedience to the Guru and bows down in his presence. Bows down. This is one of the fundamental duty of a disciple, that when we say bow down, it is not a act of a chore. Bows down here is with implicit obedience. Implicit obedience is that when someone is completely convinced about his spiritual aspect of it, when someone is completely surrendered himself to this process, knows that without the blessings of my spiritual master, without the blessings of the Vaishnavas, my life is nowhere. And he is completely convinced that without further help from him, where will I go? So he bows down. It is in fact said that when spiritual master is coming, and if the disciple doesn't bow down, doesn't offer his respects and obeisances, he can be punished, and it is an offense. And a very, very famous pastime in this connection is Vritrasura's pastime. The entire Vritrasura's pastime, it started with this very simple gesture or very simple quality that Indra kind of took it easy to not to bow down to his Gurudev when he was entering. Technically, if you see, from our so-called millennials viewpoint, it's okay, I've been respectful. It's now in my zone, me time. Now I'm in my my private space and in my space, and if Gurudev comes in, then it is this problem. What will I do? I mean, that's the kind of language that we hear from our, but in the devotional stature, and when somebody is properly devotionally inclined, they are always 24 by 7. They are always available to serve, and not only just serve, they have an implicit obedience. The word obedience is seen as coward. The word obedience is seen as slavery. The word obedience, for the modern word, is seen as suppression. But our Krishna consciousness is das anudas 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 anudas. The Bhaktivinoda Thakur is singing in his song Manasa Dego Geho Jo Kichumor Arpilu Tua Padri Ananda Kishore. In one of the stanzas, he's saying that how by him he's absolutely fine by taking birth in the family of a Vaishnava as a small insect. He doesn't even mind wherever, how much ever life he takes, so long as he gets birth in the Kita Janma Hau Jata Tuva Das Bahir Mukha Brahma Janme Nahiyas. May I be born again even as a worm, so long as I may remain your devotee. I have no desire to be born as a Brahma averse to you. So the idea here is that Pranipatena para means as implicit obedience. And many a times our obedience, our surrender is very subjective. When I am benefited, when I am appreciated, when I am given some reward, when I am accommodated. But when we are punished, when we are, given some service deterrent to as a deterrence to our mistakes, then our obedience is slightly compromised. Why am I punished? Why the other person is not punished? So many thoughts comes in. So this word obedience means absolute surrender, and I don't hold any grudge against that person, and I will be able to offer my obeisances again and again. Nalakwara and Manigriva are bowing down to Krishna, saying that Krishna, for the mercy that you have shown upon us, we have nothing to give you. What you have everything, what we can give you, so we are giving ourselves to you. So the obedience is not just an act of bowing down. It is to say, sir, I am yours. Sir, I am available for your service. Please engage me in your service. So this is technically done. So according to Nectar of Devotion, when you see spiritual master, you have to bow down, chant his pranam mantra, and express your surrender towards him. Take the practicalities. When Prabhupada was there, devotees used to fall flat, even in the railway station, whether it was airport, whether it was road, wherever it was. But I guess we don't take absolute cognizance of time, place, circumstances. But the message here is that it is a duty of a surrendered soul, surrendered disciple to do this. And if you remember the Panihati Chiddadahi festival, it did commence because Nityananda Prabhu called Raghunath Das Goswami chore, that why are you standing far away from a Vaishnava? You should be coming down and serving Vaishnavas and glorifying Vaishnavas. So you have to bow down and serve Vaishnavas. That's a festival of punishment that Nityananda Prabhu is initiating. So offering obeisances is a very interesting act. It may be a very simple gesture, small gesture, but it communicates a very clear message. I am yours. Please bless me. I am ready to do anything that you say. Not for my purpose, but for your pleasure. Even if I am not rewarded, even if I am, given some secondary treatment, I am available. So let's learn to bow down. At least when you see Gurudev, when you see very senior Vaishnavas, we'll have to bow down. So one devotee asked the question, how many times we bow down? Suppose if I am in the temple hall crossing here and there, how many times I should bow down to Prabhupada? How many times should I bow down to Vaishnavas? If if you can bow down, you should bow down as many times as you want. But here, bow down is one aspect of it, an associated implicit obedience, which means how you talk, how you walk, how your gestures are in front of him, what all content you speak in front of him, how do you have an eye contact, how do you, move around that person, what you show, what you don't show. These are all associated things in terms of implicit obedience. You don't sit showing your leg towards him. You don't speak ill of somebody else. So, I do not want to get into a NOD class here, but I guess implicit obedience means we use our common sense, which is completely gone, especially to this generation. So our generation or the generation before them had some sense because of the blessings that we received from our parents and from our elders. So we need to somehow or other learn, demonstrate, and actually purify ourselves as well as teach others. So I will leave it there because the implicit obedience is in itself is a conversation that we can do for quite some time, because we seldom have, we demand equality, and I guess it's a far out topic. The eighth quality is Prashna Kala Pratiksha. Prashna Kala Pratiksha means Prashna Kala Pratiksha. So which means he waits for the right time to clear his doubts about what he has learned from the Acharya. You look at this. Knowing right time to clarify doubts. Sometimes, we see our relationship with our guru, our relationship with our, our authorities as an entitlement. Just because I have a guru, I have an entitlement, I will demand his attention, which in one sense we can, but you can keep on expressing your need for his attention, but if the attention is getting delayed, so we need not hold any grudge or anything against a spiritual master. So a disciple or a student or a person who is surrendered to the Supreme Lord, we all have only one thing that we can do. We can only seek his blessings, but we can't demand his mercy. Mercy, it is his prerogative. Seeking blessings is our prerogative. That is the mood, that is the highest level of mood. I just continuously seek blessings, and whether he gives mercy or not mercy, I will keep continuing doing my service at his lotus feet for his pleasure, for his mission. So that is the mood of a surrendered soul. That is why the 8th verse of Sikshashtakam says that even if you do not appear in front of us, you are still our worshipable Lord. Prahlad Maharaj is saying to Narsinghadev, please don't try to allure us. When Narsinghadev asked Prahlad Maharaj, my dear son, I want to give you something. Prahlad Maharaj says, please don't allure, please don't entice me. I am already enough, conditioned. That's what Prahlad Maharaj says. So by you trying to give me, you don't need to prove a point that you are my master. Even if you don't give anything, you are my master. Aslishyava padaratam pinashtumam adarshnat marma hatam karot. So the idea is that a disciple is so sensitive. So the pastime of Dasarathi, it's a wonderful pastime. So Dasarathi had gone to Ramanujacharya. Dasarathi is one of the foremost disciples of Ramanujacharya. He's a sannyasi and he is up there in his stature, in his devotion. So he went to Ramanujacharya and asked him a question that, my dear Gurudev, can you please explain me the purport of Sarva Dharman Parityajya? So he asked this question. I'm not sure, in what time he asked, but I guess he asked with all humility, with all sincerity. And he's a sannyasi. one of the foremost is one of first disciples of Ramanuja, if I'm right, first or second. I think Dasarathi and Kuvaresh are first and second disciples of Ramanujacharya, and they have done fantastic service for them. So when they asked this question, Ramanujacharya thought for a while and said, I guess Dasarathi, you should go to my Gurudev Goshti Purna and ask this question. So Dasarathi said, okay, Gurudev, I will go there. So he sent to Tirukoshtiur, that is in 100 kilometers from Srirangam, or whatever, 50, 70 kilometers from Madurai. Beautiful place, beautiful place. So he sent him there. So Dasarathi went there and said, Hare Krishna Param Gurudev, I had asked this question to my Guru Maharaj, he sent me to you to learn from you. So he said, okay, you just go and do some service, I'll see later. So he was given some service. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4, 5, 6, 1 month, 2 months, 6 months he did service. Not asking any question, he kept on doing all the service that Goshti Purna kept on giving. He just kept on doing service. After 6 months' time, he called and said, hey, you had a question, na? What was the question? No, I want to understand the purport of Sarvadharman Parityaja, Maharaj. Your Guru Maharaj, Ramanuja can explain you better. Go and ask him only. Can you imagine? After getting 6 months of service, he said that go and ask from Ramanujacharya alone. So he said, okay, I will go. So he came back to Ramanujacharya. So and Ramanujacharya was asking, so what happened? Tell me. So he said, he was explaining what happened. At that time, somebody knocked at the door of Ramanujacharya's ashram, and Ramanujacharya said, you wait, I'll come. When he went, he saw a pregnant lady. Her name was Atulai. This Atulai is the daughter of Ramanujacharya's guru. Ramanujacharya had multiple gurus, so he had sent, because Atulai was pregnant, her in-laws, because Atulai asked her in-laws, my dear, family members, please help me, I am already pregnant. In those days, tap facility and necessary pump, motor, and all those arrangements are not there. People have to fetch water from the well. They have to do their own household chores. So she said, I'm pregnant. I'm not able to manage, cleaning the house, mopping the house, getting water from the well. Can you please help me with some maid? So out of whatever, situation, they said, go and ask your father. We cannot provide you all of those things. If you need some support system, ask your father to support. And when she went to the father, she said, go and ask your brother. So Ramanujacharya, thought about it and said, oh, okay, you need a support system. He thought for a while. He said, just give me 2 minutes, I'll come. He went inside, and poor Dasarathi was waiting eagerly to hear purport of Sarvadharman Parityaja. He said, we will discuss this later. Just dress up yourself hide your identity, dress up yourself as a simple maid servant. Atulai needs some help, go and help in her house. Dasarathi, without thinking a second, he said, okay, and he dressed himself as a simple maid servant. So Dasarathi was a famous devotee. Everybody knew him, so he hid his identity and went along with Atulai. And every day his service was fetching water from the well, cleaning the house, cleaning the vessels, mopping the floor, and doing all sorts of work. One day, Bhagavatam speaker came to their village, and he was giving a Bhagavatam. Typically, that's the culture in those days. Regularly, there are some Ramayana, Bharat, and different stage dramas were performed as a part of cultural art and culture. It is also a way people learned, religious and Vedic studies. So this guy who was coming and giving a Bhagavatam class, he made a philosophical mistake in the class. So Atulai and their family also attended, and naturally our friend Dasarathi was also there. So he raised his hand and said, my dear sir, what you are saying is technically wrong. So everybody in the crowd turned around and said, "Who is this?" Both the speaker as well as the audience were surprised by Dasarathi or that maid servant raising his hand. And he said, "If you think you're so intelligent, you tell me what the correct version of it." And Dasarathi, because of his knowledge, he said, "What is the correct version of it?" I don't exactly know those details. They are there in Sri Vaishnava's literature. And everybody was surprised. My God. Even the speaker got convinced that yes, that is correct. So everybody went and inquired, "Who are you? This cannot be you cannot be just a normal cook, normal maid servant. How did you know all these things? Who are you? Who are you?" Until that point, nobody asked him, "Who are you?" So when they asked, "Who are you?" he couldn't hide his head. He couldn't tell a lie. He's somebody else. He said, "I am a humble disciple of Sripad Ramagiridhari, and my name is Dasarathi." Everybody started to feel so sorry from the house of Atulai. They said, "Oh my God, oh my God, my God, what did we do? We engaged some very elevated Vaishnava in such a simple service, and he was doing all the service for us." So they all went to Ramanujacharya to complain to Ramanujacharya that how did he even do this? Why did he do this? So when they went to Ramanujacharya, so Ramanujacharya heard the entire episode and he was laughing. He said, before even answering to Atulai or anybody else, he said, "Now you are qualified to listen the purport of Sarva Dharman Paridhyaja, and I'll give you another additional title, Vaishnava Das." So the point is, Prashna Kala Pratiksha is one is you ask the doubts, wait for the right time to clear your doubts. At the same time, when you ask question, because you asked a question, doesn't mean that you are entitlement for an answer immediately. Bhagavad Gita 4.34 purport, famous purport. Srila Prabhupada writes 7 steps before knowledge is imparted. 6 steps before knowledge is imparted. Totally 7 steps he's writing. How the knowledge is imparted. Right from identifying the spiritual master till the knowledge is imparted, there are some steps. So the point is that in our spiritual journey, we are servants first, then we are students. Of course, the students and servant conversation, they go hand in hand. But unless you are serving, you cannot be a student. And you have to be a student to be a proper servant. So that is why in Gurukula, service and learning went hand in hand. They were allowed to serve, then only they were taught. And they were taught proportionate to how much they served, how much humility they served, depends upon their gesture. So it was always a multi-level classroom. This curriculum was custom, tailor-made for every individual kid according to their surrender. So Prashna Kala Pratiksha in our spiritual life is also asking questions are very important. But how we ask questions, whom we ask questions, when we ask questions, why we ask questions, how, in what tone we ask questions, they are all going to be associated with our nature. If they are not done for higher purpose or the purpose for us to be a missionary, then these are all treated as some secondary agenda. Sometimes we ask questions just to, register our presence. Sometimes we ask questions to show our panditya. Sometimes we ask our questions because we want to, kind of becoming intellectually clear. But our asking question has nothing to do with any of those things. Our asking question is, how can I be a useful servant in your mission? Please tell me. Because your mission is my life, and how can I become a useful servant in your mission? So please enable me, and please bless me. That's the message. So this is the 8th quality. 9th quality is called Santa. Santa meaning he is peaceful and self-controlled. Peaceful and self-controlled. When Raghunath Das Goswami was called by Nityananda Prabhu. And Nityananda Prabhu said, "You are a chore, you are a thief." Just imagine that scene for 2 seconds, that you have not done anything wrong in that sense, in our materialistic viewpoint. Somebody blames you, calls you names, somebody is trying to hold you responsible for your behavior. We will bounce back. We'll bounce back and say that, hey, how can you call me like this? How can you say like this? So we'll all try to become a little agitated. Here, Raghunath Das Goswami went ahead and serving the entire village and all the people are thronging in. Not only that, after feeding everyone, he gave gold coins, dakshina. Chaitanya Charitamrita explains, he gave dakshina to everyone. He gave dakshina according to the person's stature in the social and devotional community, as directed by Raghava Pandita. Finally, what happened? He received the blessings. Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu kept their lotus feet on his forehead and on his chest. And he got so happy. So the point is, peaceful and self-controlled does not mean that I am dysfunctional. Many times we have this problem. Being humble, being simple, being peaceful, self-controlled. What is our assumption? I'll sit in my room and just lock up myself and do nothing. So that, I have no problems. I don't create any problems to anyone. I will not commit Vaishnava aparadha. That is not the definition. The idea is that when I'm peaceful, when I'm self-controlled, when I am, humble, simple, tolerant, I am actively involved in the service. This is how I will respond to the agitative, provocative, and disturbing, challenging situations. So that I am not a part of the problem, I am part of the solution. Being Santa means I am telling I am part of the solution, not part of the problem. Sometimes when we are in a problem, when you are there, you being peaceful and self-controlled, you will bring in as a solution. If you are also going and blabbering and shouting and agitated, then nothing going to work. And the Santa means they are unperturbed by materialistic provocation, materialistic challenges, materialistic allegations, materialistic things. They are very much internalized. They are very much into their own. That is why you can never disturb a Vaishnava. Of course, when you disturb him, Krishna gets offended, but a Vaishnava does not get offended. Gopala Chappal, insulted, Srivas Thakur. Srivas Thakur did not get offended. You read 4th canto, 2nd chapter, Daksha, accused, accused Lord Shiva. So many purports Prabhupada read how Lord Shiva was, so peaceful. So this is what Prabhupada tells in one of the lectures. A Vaishnava is as soft as a lotus petal and as hard as thunderbolt. And he gives example of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Prabhupada gives example of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and various other examples in that how they are simultaneously very soft, very tender, very childlike nature, simple, humble, peaceful. And when it comes to establishing the authenticity of our process, they are like a roaring lion. And when it comes to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj is called a very strict lion guru. So Shanta is very important, not to be misread as our being dysfunctional or trying to be away from active Krishna consciousness. That is very wrong. Peaceful and self-control means I am in the service, participating actively in the service, but I am not reacting based on my external quotients. I will react, I will contribute, I will perform for the cause, be part of the solution. And even if for the part of the solution, if I may have to raise my voice, I will raise my voice for the cause, not for my ego, for my arrogance. So it's a very, subjective understanding. This should not be read from a very direct English meaning. This peaceful and self-controlled does not mean that I am just a quiet person, not doing, not talking, not involving myself in any of the active services. No, sir, I don't participate in any of those things. I want to remain peaceful in my life. Many times we think like that. That is why Srila Prabhupada, with all emphatic preaching spirit, he says, we as a student of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Sankirtan mission, we are always in missionary mode. We have no vacation mode. Whether you are settled in Vrindavan, whether you are settled in Mayapur, that is why I speak to all my students or friends who are settled in Dham, because we have one of the agendas that I want to settle in Dham. When you settle in Dham, people, I mean, with all due respects, I'm not trying to target any individual. Sometimes we get into the vacation mode. Yeah, now I am in Dham. So I kind of get into the let loose, relax mode. I am telling that when you're in Dham, you are supposed to serve double, or because you are in city, you had your job, you had your work, you had so many things. Now that you have retired, so make sure that your time in Dham is dovetailed 24/7 in Krishna's service. So the idea is that there is no vacation. So from that perspective, we are always into the missionary mode. And number 10 is called Danta, which means controls both his mind and speech. Controls mind and speech. Now a question may be raised that we are discussing one of the use case of this particular section that we're dealing is Sanat Kumaras and Jaya and Vijaya. Technically, is Jaya Vijaya stopped Sanat Kumaras to enter the Vaikuntha Dham as a part of their service. And should Sanat Kumaras react? Should they have been upset? Should they have been angry? So that is where the Leela quotient comes in. So the way Parikshit Maharaj dealt with, when Parikshit Maharaj was cursed by Shringi, when Parikshit Maharaj was, Parikshit Maharaj, even though the mistake that he has done by putting the dead snake around the sadhu is definitely wrong. He is out of the sensual or whatever situational. He was very thirsty, and because he was the Raja, Maharaja, he did not get the necessary treatment. So, in terms of his power, position, and stature, what he did is not such a punishable offense that he will be, like a death sentence is given. But then, when Parikshit Maharaj received that punishment, the way he spoke and the way he reciprocated, the way he responded to the situation, the way he accepted to himself. So Santa, Danta, Dono, both the qualities are very much, revealed at that point in time. Sanat Kumara's anger is also seen as one form of, self-realization, because the devotees are also, varieties in nature. They enhance the Leela, they enhance the situation. Should Nityananda Prabhu be angry? Nityananda Prabhu's anger was transcendental. Similarly, Sanat Kumara's, their desire to see the Lord, because all the while they were in Brahma Jyoti, toitering around, they were in absolute, distress of missing the mellow, missing the charm, missing the, wonderful glory. But when the aroma, helped them to develop the divine connection with the Supreme Lord, they didn't want to even waste a single nanosecond. So from that urgency, sense of urgency, what they spoke. That is why the anger, the frustration, the fight, the debate, the service, every quality in that realm is to be seen from a completely different spectacles. It has to be, we have to wear the spectacles of pure devotional service, and every action are not triggered out of sensual pleasure or something triggered out of someone's individual ego or anything like that. So, hence, the quality of controlling one's mind and speech. Vacho vegam, manasa krodha vegam, jihva vegam, udaropastha vegam. Prabhupada writes in the first purport of Nectar of Instruction. He says that as a practicing devotee, one need to learn to control our urges so that we are able to attract the blessings of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we have to attract by just our gesture, by just our way of regulating what we speak. Ayena vacha manasrendriyaiva buddhyatmanava prakrite swabhava karomi yadyat sakalam parasmai narayana samarpayami. So our prayers are such that we tell, my dear Lord, please help us to dovetail our words, our thoughts, our intelligence, everything in your service. So from that standpoint, it is important for us to um, uh, control our words and speech. Now we are already in 7:33, 9 o'clock. So I'll just tell one more quality, and then probably we'll have to borrow one more week from our organizers, and next week I'll promise that I'll finish this entire course by itself. So the 11th quality is about the quality of anasuya. Anasuya is free from jealousy. So I am not able to add another page. I'm not sure why. So 11th quality is anasuya, free from jealousy. I guess it is very much self-explanatory. It is to say that I have no problem. Let everybody make progress ahead of me. Let everybody get the blessings of the Supreme Lord. I am happy. I am not perturbed because our the tendency of jealousy, jalan, comes from our self-centeredness. That if I'm not getting the recognition, if I'm not getting the identity, if I'm not getting the importance, if I'm not getting the service ahead of someone, we immediately start to jalte hain. We all feel very much we feel very intense within ourselves. So the sense of jealousy is absolutely nil in such souls, in the sense that how do you know they are having no sense of jealousy? Pravaha, like a flow of river, they will be able to appreciate Vaishnavas. If you ask them to appreciate Vaishnavas, I was conducting a counseling session to a set of devotees for their some problems. So I asked them to list 5, 10 good qualities and 3 rooms for improvement qualities. For them to list 5, 7, 10 good qualities was not possible. Genuinely they tried. It was not that they were faking. But when it comes to listing the problems, they could list when I asked 3, they gave 10. So sometimes our mind or our thought process is so much wrongly oriented, wrongly aligned, that we are keen in looking at others' faults because we are self-centered, because we are thinking that we are accomplished, we are successful. I am right. What I am doing is right. How I am right. When we are in that zone, and when somebody else is able to do better than us, when somebody is able to get better recognition than us, when somebody is able to make progress ahead of us, when I am thinking that I am better, so then naturally we get into this sense of jealousy. And in Krishna consciousness realm, there is absolutely zero jealousy. Nobody is, of course, if you go to the transcendental pastime between gopis and amongst themselves, they have Prabhupada is using this word called transcendental fraud. If you Veda base, if you go and search, he's using the word called transcendental fraud and transcendental jealousy. So that word, the reason that he using the word transcendental is for us to, prepare ourselves, read them, see them as a leela, as a aspect of enhancement. That is why when you are sitting and discussing Lalita Madhava, Vidagdha Madhava, or Gopala Champu, or any kind of those very Vrindavan transcendental pastimes, those class, we have to remove our shirt of materialistic person and sit and enjoy and see if we can at least transport us for momentarily, though, what it means to be Vrindavan mood, what it means to be Mayapur mood, what it means to be Jagannath Puri mood, what it means to be the mood of a sadhaka, a servant of a spiritual master, where I'm supposed to inculcate all these qualities. And Gurudev cannot, it is impossible for a spiritual master to impart instructions when he sees the sense of jealousy in a disciple. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj openly said that. Bhakti Vikas Maharaj is writing in his book on Bhakti Siddhanta Vaibhava, that Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj at a point in time got so frustrated with his own disciples being jealous. They were so much greedy about their power, position, chair. To the extent he said that I want to sell this all off and print it as a books. And some of the disciples of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, they were jealous of Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, which Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj knew. So this is the reason this is addressed. This is one of these age-old problem of this conditioned soul. So, and every Vaishnavacharya understands them. So they have made this as a point to make us free from jealous. So this is something that we'll have to take into our important consideration, without which we will not be able to make necessary progress in Krishna consciousness. So our journey in spiritual life depends upon how much we are internalizing these qualities, and then try to internalize these qualities and try to be a part of solution, part of the a team of Gurudev's mission. So this is very important for us to contemplate on. We have 4 more qualities. I will beg the organizers to please allow me to take one more session. I do not want to Adha Adhura se chhod de. So if Kirta Sudari Mataji is listening or any other organizers are listening, please allow me one more session, and next Thursday or next Wednesday evening your time, Thursday morning my time, we'll finish these 4 as well as quickly wrap up with the summarizing of what all that we learned in this entire series, and take your blessings and end this series. So for now, I'll stop here and take up any questions or comments. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Pitai Gaurav Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Any questions or comments? I'll be happy to respond.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you again for a wonderful session. Mataji had to jump on to another call, she said, so I will help facilitate some of this. If anybody has any question, please raise your hand. I see Rachna Mataji has a question. Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Very nice class, Prabhuji. Nice points. So I have a question about something which is opposite of transcendental fraud. In Chaitanya Bhagavat, there is a term used, super mundane activities of Gaur and Nitai. Now, what has that got to do with transcendence? Can you please explain? I saw the word super mundane again and again, and I was very confused. Like, can you explain what that word means?
Okay. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's, leelas are super transcendental, and sometimes, we cannot even comprehend. So I do not know the context, but I think I have also heard this, before, in terms of super mundane activities. It is like, okay, this is what I understand. I do not exactly, maybe the context is different, maybe the situation is different. Other Vaishnavas can enlighten. But my understanding is that Prabhupada, when he uses the word transcendental fraud, he's using the word transcendental fraud, is saying that they did fraud by telling something to their house and coming to play with Krishna. And Prabhupada says that this is not material lust, this is transcendental lust. Similarly, we see in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan mission. I'm not sure in the context what you're referring is, whether Mahaprabhu is referred or Mahaprabhu's servants are referred, but it is in the context where they perform materialistic action and which is otherwise termed as mundane, but then not have any sense. For example, somebody is joining a political party. I mean, just giving an example. One of our devotees, my friend, joined political party, and his agenda was somehow or other, I'll join politics to preach Krishna consciousness. So sometimes such decisions are, how by political parties are very dangerous because of their very nature. You have to be diplomatic. You have to have so many of so-called material vices inculcated. But then if somebody is trying to take that as a mission to assist Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan mission, then this word, the super mundane, could be assigned. I do not know, Mataji. Otherwise, in what context this was said. But I also had heard this, that super mundane activities is that which has no relevance to spirituality, but still they are being done to part of the mission or part of the activities. That's all I could guess and interpret. Correct me if I am wrong, even in the context wise. But this is whatever I heard also, it is in the same context only.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you for that. So another question I have is, like, do you eat chocolate?
Me?
Yes.
No.
Because I am asking you this because in some ISKCON temples, I have been to a ISKCON temple where on Govardhan Puja, the Govardhan hill was made with chocolate cake. I mean, I tasted the cake, it was chocolate. And in other temples, chocolate is not allowed. And then also in some ISKCON temples, they allow ahimsa milk. They're very pakka about that. And then other temples, any milk is used. So now, how do you understand how ISKCON's applying these principles, like these type of principles? I mean, I understand all the other big things, but these type of smaller details.
No, I'll give you answer in two parts. One is what Bhaktivikash Maharaj says, and one is what I have definitely learned and in my last few years in Krishna consciousness. Okay, first to clarify on the chocolate part of it. Chocolate as a ingredient or as a vastu, even devotees have made at homes also. So if there is cooked at home, sometimes white chocolates or that which is free from caffeinated and with carobs and various things, those are all allowed, and they are seen as chocolate equivalent. But chocolate cooked bought from eclairs and Snickers and so many other things that are made outside. So that is something which we are supposed to refrain from. But this is, I'm telling you, I'll give a list of few more things. Prabhupada said soya is not a recommended food for a Vaishnava. But if you see devotees, drink soya milk, they make the meal maker and whatever So there are so many things. As you progress in Krishna consciousness, you are supposed to increase your standard. Prabhupada was very careful. He gave a basic standard, and he gave an increasing standard in different lectures. He made a statement, but he did not enforce them. He left it for individuals to imbibe their learning and take it. So my understanding is, make sure that the basic things that you are supposed to, you govern them. And Prabhupada was against in devotees, when Prabhupada was in Bauri, he used to go for a morning walk. In those days, the students, they were not fully, into Krishna consciousness. The boys and girls, what they used to do is that they used to go to the corner ice cream shop and sit in the ice cream shop, and they used to talk and chit chat and have ice cream. So those students who are coming to Prabhupada class, Prabhupada used to see them doing that. So Prabhupada got them married and also explained them the effect of eating food that are not offered and in such things. So that's when so much of cooking, standard of cooking, and so many conversations came in. So the idea is that when we are progressing in Krishna consciousness, we need to bring in self-restriction over and above what is a normal allowed restriction. So why to speak of chocolate and why to speak of ahimsa milk? I'll tell you. Rupa Goswami says that we are supposed to eat half our belly. 25% of our belly is supposed to be empty. We are supposed to reduce our eating. In one place, Prabhupada is saying that we are supposed to eat prasadam up to our neck. So I was discussing with one devotee, he was telling that as you progress in Krishna consciousness, even if it is Mahaprasadam, you are supposed to consume because it may affect your service, it may affect your health, it may affect your getting up, if it may affect your various aspects of it. So please take care, even if it is Mahaprasadam. Please serve everyone nicely, but restrict in yourselves. So the first part of my answer is that these restrictions are very subjective for the very nature that we are a preaching movement, because people are not convinced. Even the so-called ISKCON temples leaders are also, some of them are sadhakas, some of them are learning, so they are also in their own journey, and hence apart from the general restrictions, specific restrictions are subjective to one's surrender to this process, and they are being enforcing it upon someone is very difficult. For some people who is not getting ahimsa milk, who is not getting any milk. The second aspect with Bhakti Vikas Maharaj is writing is, if anything that is pure in this world, everything is impure, even ahimsa milk according to him, because to get a right cow, whether do you have cows in USA, you have cows in Canada, you have cows in Mexico, we do not know by the definition of cow. It's all crossbreed. So what do you call as ahimsa milk? And, so Bhakti Vikas Maharaj very nicely says that the entire journey of our Krishna consciousness, every ingredient is adulterated, but for holy name. So better is take shelter of holy name, and every other ingredient, try the best use of the bad bargain. So long as your consciousness is such that you are able to please Krishna and not senses, I think the agenda is, those are all some things that are I wouldn't say ignored, they are all adjusted. It's okay. At least make sure that you are surrendered to your holy name, because that is the only pure thing in this world. The rest, everything is adulterated. Thanks, and Mataji.
Great. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So technically, I would put it this way: don't eat chocolates, drink ahimsa milk. But if somebody is eating a chocolate and ahimsa milk, be considerate, saying that maybe they will have their own time to give them up also. So it is like even in our own houses, in our own personal families, we may have to take care of them. Sometimes our children may want them, but we may not have them. The children may want them, because if you don't give them, just because you don't give chocolates, they will not come to the program. And they don't come to the program, they don't get to hear the class, and it's a chain reaction. So just because by not giving them a chocolate, you are depriving of hearing a Bhagavatam class. Who knows, by hearing a Bhagavatam class, they will get to know how to give up a chocolate. So it's a very complex. That is why philosophical understanding is great. Application of philosophical understanding is the mission. So this application of philosophical understanding, that's where Vaishnavas are going to play a significant role. They help us in apply. They help us in walking that journey. It is very tough. It was not easy for us to give up onion garlic. It was not easy for some people to give up meat. It was not easy for us to give up certain things, watching movies or going to entertainment and drama, cinema, and things like that. But we could manage to do that. Holy name helped. Vaishnava's blessings helped. So this will also go away. I will say one funny story that Prabhupada said. One girl came to Srila Prabhupada and said, Srila Prabhupada, the chanting process that you have given is so wonderful that, whenever I chant the holy name of the Lord, I get to see a red light coming in front of my eyes. Srila Prabhupada very jokingly say, keep chanting, that will also go away. Something like that. So sometimes when we have a statement of Krishna consciousness alternative. This Krishna consciousness alternative will also go away. One day we'll come to Dal Khichdi for sure. So we will come to a stage where we do not want to even eat what is because Dal Khichdi. We want to simply hear Krishna Katha and chant and enjoy. And our body, our consciousness, our existence will support that. Last 2 months of Prabhupada, his intake was Charanamrita, liquid. Last few days of Raghunath Das Goswami was only, buttermilk. And interestingly, he drank buttermilk and he got stomach upset. When they went to the doctor, the doctor said he ate so much of kheer. So all the devotees are saying that impossible. We are only feeding him. He has not had kheer. But the Ayurveda doctor said, no, his stomach is upset because he had kheer. And where he had kheer? In his samadhi, he went and participated in Krishna Leela. He had kheer there. So once you get into the zone of Krishna consciousness, you are surcharged, you are taken care by devotional quotient. So I guess we have an interesting journey ahead. So as Gauranga Prabhu says, first 3 lectures in ISKCON are free and you are given a royal treatment. From that point in time, you have to kasitna. You have to, keep, engaging yourself and you will be purified in your journey. And there will be a day comes where you will be given a transcendental utmost happiness. And in between in stages, it's going to be really interesting. And I guess we are in for the fun. Krishna gives that necessary support system. Okay. Any other thoughts, comments, questions? Okay, I'm so sorry that, I went a little overboard and I'm right now in Bangalore. So I'm in a different setup. So it was taking some time for me to settle in. I will seek the blessings of all of you. Please tolerate for one more session. I do not want to leave it halfway. So next Wednesday evening, your time, US time, and Thursday morning, India time, we will finish this series on uncovering the signs of punishments, purifications. So until then, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. We can all unmute and chant pranam mantra for Prabhuji. Vancha kalpatarubhascha kripas indo evacha patitanam pavanabhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. Thank you, Prabhuji. Keep going. We'll take it.
Yes,
Hare
thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.